Alright guys, let's take a look at creating a video here. I already have some preloaded media files in here, some intro and outro sound files that I recorded for the beginning and end of the video, narration ending as well, and then those two are more of just a sound clip. So I have a still image, that's what you see here in the middle. I have this image as well for the ending. If we jump here we can see. And really that's the space that I'm working with right now. I'm just going to drag everything to the front. All you do is you create a box around it with your mouse and pointer as such. Click and drag in one area and then drag up to the left, down, however big or small you want it. Okay, so I got a notepad here. I've written down some videos that I want to make highlights of, and so we're going to try and find the one I'm looking for in particular. You can try if you really want, but at the same time. So this is 12:30. So this is right in the afternoon. Now I'm looking for a 10 o'clock game. Yep, 10 a.m. game or 10 a.m. video. So if that was then, 10 should be closer this way. Actually, just kidding, the other way. Let's give. I think that's the actual timestamp, 10:35. So I need a 10 o'clock. So I'm going to go with this one because it looks like it's in two parts. This one will confirm. Let me see here. Is this the one that I do it? Still says 10 o'clock. Okay, so this actually might be that run. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this file in. Actually, I'll hold off on it for a second. That's the 05. So this will be the beginning. So yeah, it's only 9:30 there. Okay, so that's where it starts. Let's check here. Just nope, I didn't do it that one, so I don't need that one. This is probably it. Yep. Okay, so this is the video I want. Just click in the files and then drag over here. It's going to ask you about importing your media file if you have it in a different place. Basically, there's a concern over, I guess, rendering the video later on if you have it stored in one place where all the compression's taking place in a different place. So either way, I've been doing it this way for a while. Videos turn out fine. So what you do from there, media bin is where you first import it into Camtasia. After that point, you want to look at bringing the file into the timeline down here so that you can begin working on it. Now I can use this scroll bar up here that I'm holding onto to move around in the video. Okay, and if there's more or less going on in the video, you may need to investigate further. You can zoom and you can scroll out. You can do it here with the sliding bar, so you can scroll all the way out. Looks like 0 minutes up to 32 minutes, probably 35 minutes, somewhere in there at the end, and then you can scroll really far in as well. Right, so I'm at the minute 4 mark, 13 seconds. You know, still a lot going on, and you can slow these down, speed them up. We can look at different effects on the video here coming up. But for now, I don't need to be that zoomed in. Really, there's probably fine. I do need to parse this video down some. I do not need the entire length of the video. So what we're going to do is take a look at what's the maximum point that I need and trim the rest. So that wasn't a successful one, so we can probably trim up to there. Let's see, what was that point? We'll call it 7 minutes. Yeah, call it 7:16. Alright, 7:16, and it looks like this one. Of course, you can also scroll to the right if you have more. There's a sliding bar down here at the bottom. Alternatively, you can actually just keep your cursor. Watch as I move towards the left. You'll see that once I get to the left, if I'm not at the 0 mark, it'll actually start to scroll that way a little bit. I don't find it as precise as using it this way and then sliding the bar. It ends up skipping a little bit. Okay, so we're at the part. I already finished it. I think, yeah, let's go ahead and cut it there. See, I do anything special? No. Alright, let's cut it right there. I can trim the rest later. Once you get to a point and you're ready to trim, you just grab either the green tab if you're going left or the red tab if you're going right. I do not need any of the rest of this video of this current selected video file. There's more than I didn't need, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. I had my cursor here, and then I dragged one of the smaller tabs. Here, I can focus again. If you double click on that area, it'll bring all of the tabs and timeline back to the point you double click. So do be careful with double clicking. But you can see I dragged this shape here is your primary timeline. That's the one that you're going to be looking at here for the video segment. The green is going to be where you left off initially, or where you want the beginning of the video to be. Red is the opposite. It's how far do you want to go, or the end. So I'm going to go ahead and just drag it over the entire clip here. Scroll down so you guys can see. And then all you do is hit delete. I don't need it anymore. Camtasia is nice with this navigator, excuse me, because once you edit files and stuff like that, delete, it'll resyncopate and you can move back on. Double click around wherever you want to go to skip to different segments. I think it was 7 minutes something. This might be it here where I said I was good. Yeah. Yeah, let's take right there. So this time I'm going to do the opposite. I know I want this point forward in the video, and I actually don't need a whole lot of the last bit. So I can scroll over here, and I'm going just to this point. These track levels, let's see if I can expand this. I could change the view here. There's many different track levels. There's another scroll wheel here on the far right, so you can go 4, 5, 6, 7 different levels on top of what you're doing, and you'll notice that, and I'll explain that back here when we look back at the beginning and the end. Again, though, we're going to remove this segment of the video. So this time we grab the green tab since it's on the left side of our timestamp and move back to the beginning. Again, just hit delete to get rid of it. Now this video file is kind of all out there by itself. What I have going on here in the beginning is a little intro bit. I can play that for you. Okay. And basically what you saw there was I had a still image for a period of time, and then I had a little bit of a transition led to some text coming in. We can look at the final bit.
And there it is, boys. If you like this video, definitely make sure to give it a like, share it if you guys would like, and also subscribe to me on Twitch and my YouTube pages. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Okay. Here we have just a still image led by another still image with sound commentary on top. And you can do the commentary in Camtasia, or you could do it separate as a separate video file. Either way, if you brought it separate, you would just bring it here into the media bin like we did earlier with dragging and dropping. You can also use this plus sign in the media bin to then import media from different areas. It'll just bring up, you know, where you want to pull it from, and then from there you just navigate to your respective video clip or file of some sort. Alright, getting back on track here. So those are my beginnings and ends. I actually do, listening to that now, want to modify the commentary and some of the imaging. We'll do that towards the end of the video. For now, I'm just going to take these and move them just a little bit closer. Right about there. Alright. I'm pulling this video in because this is the one we're going to work on. Okay. just set my time frame starting there. So this is a video. I was playing some games. I was playing this game, World of Warcraft here, and I was doing this specific challenge. It was pretty difficult, and so I recorded it locally, and then with the intent of doing what we're doing now, which is to go back and look at the video and being able to comment on different aspects as the video progressed. So I have the video clip. That's what we were parsing down earlier by truncating different ends of the video to what we wanted to look at here. And this is the one I'm thinking of. There it is. It's complete. There you go. So right now the clip's actually pretty good as is, right? I trimmed it. There wasn't a lot that I want to do to it right at this second, but what we can do is some interesting behavior. We can look at some basic rudimentary different abilities we have for the video, and I'll show how those translate into an initial video. You can do a lot more. This one we'll keep it a little bit basic right now, but just stick with me here and I'll show you the ropes. So I'm ready to now take my video files on the end, and we're gonna move them. So okay, here we go. Here's a level 3 or a track 3 item. Might be on the foreground there. Alternatively, if you do have one selected and you just hold the control button and click on another one, it will highlight that one as well. So that is useful. We can actually zoom in here a little bit. Okay, and then again, holding control, clicking the rest of them to get those as well. For this sake, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to move it up one and then way over here in the video. So this is just holding my mouse to the right and scrolling. It's scrolling along where it should be, and then we're good there. Again, I'm going to hold control because I want to get this next video as well, and now it's part of that group. I'm not holding control at this moment. I can then take my cursor, scroll the bar all the way to the left where I need it to be, and then clicking on the video the file, just click on it and then drag it all the way back to the beginning. In zooming out, we can scroll our wheel or double click if we wanted to and scroll over and see that we still have everything selected. Okay, so going back to the beginning, what we're going to do is start to narrow in on some different effects that you can do between the different files that you have here. So you can see that these two blue tabs are transition tabs, and I've used those in the past. They're pretty neat, something quick and easy to transition between files. Again, this is just a solid image that you're seeing here in the middle of the screen. The middle is now where we're going to be looking at actually making all these modifications. Everything below this is the file itself, and then we can do some effects to it that we'll look at later. But the file, the way that it will look, will be up here in the top. So this first transition that I have was a portal, so to speak. And now this is a series of text. I just have it in a box. You can see the outline here. I just have it in a box here. I think there's actually a small little animation for it. But we'll look at that here in a second. Just grabbing some coffee. Alright. So what I want to do is I actually still want to use this circle stretch animation. That's actually what's going on here. That's this first one. Actually, what you can do is you can click on it, and then you can go over here to this properties box, and then you can look at the scale of everything, opacity. If you want to do any sort of rotations or positioning, you can do that as well. For this individual, let me get off of here. For this individual transition, what it does is you can click on it here, and it tells you it's a circle stretch animation. So that's the same one we see right here. And when you hover over these different animations while in Camtasia, they give you a preview of what it'll look like. So there's the circle stretch. I still want to use the circle stretch, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and click and hold, and then I'm going to drag it right down to the timeline. And you'll notice that the different areas light up yellow. That's basically showing you where they go. And then from there, you can set the duration of the transition itself. So I do want to put circle stretch there, but first, what I really want to do is just go ahead and get rid of this one. I'm going to set my marker there so I have a good reference point when putting this back and sizing it. But I want to look at this transition itself. So I'm going to go ahead and actually get rid of this one right now because it's only part one. The second half would be on this file, and since it's not there, I'm just going to start over. Okay, so I clicked on it and I hit the delete button, and then again dragging down the circle stretch. You notice how that's the default size once I hovered over that area. So again, I'm holding on to it still and dragging around the screen, but I know that I want to put them between the still image and the video file itself. So once I let go, it'll place it there, and then I can take my cursor, and you can see how it already wants to show the resize key. If I hovered over around here, you see it just looks like a normal pointer, but when I hover over near the transition border, it looks like a resize cursor. That's exactly what it is. We'll stretch it out. It was at 1 second, now it's at a little over 2 seconds. So what we have going on now is when this goes, let me start over here. So now what we have is that when we play the file, the circle stretch is going to transition between the two files itself there. And if for any reason you don't care about the circle stretch, you want to look at something else, again, go over to properties, and what's real neat is you can actually come here and just look at all the different options as well for your different transitions. To get an idea of what they look like, again, I would go back over here to this left pane, and we can scroll down the map here and maybe look at a dissolve instead. Maybe we make this one a dissolve. And just drag down the dissolved and plop it in there. Now this still image will transition in dissolve sense to the new video. Okay. So again, get an idea of what they look like here on the left side. Radial blur, it's kind of neat. Just kind of blurs in. You know what? Let's use that one instead. And get a sense of what it looks like. Whoa. Alright, so it looks like we got some funny stuff going on. We got intro sound here. We got some text. Okay. An intro sound. Okay. So, circle reveal, of course, is pretty neat. Now, for the other parts of this video, I wanted to do different commentary portions of the video itself. So, we have our initial transition set up. There's a sound file here that I have imported through the media. Okay, that's intro sound here. It's a small sound bite from a different sound file, and it plays the introduction sound when you're watching the video. Again, you would add it either by looking through the media on your computer or on a Google Drive, or you could drag and drop from a folder itself right into this window here, and that way it would import automatically. That's actually how we brought this file in. Alright, now I have some text that I wanted to show on the video once it is brought up. Okay, and right now it says killed Jaden. So you can right click on it and do any sorts of things you want. Edit effects, transitions. We briefly touched on that. We'll touch on it a little bit more in a different video. Adding effects, durations, clip speeds. This is where you really would set how fast you want the file itself to play in a given time frame. So you can do either slow-mo or fast forward, basically. You can look at the properties, which we could look at by clicking the properties button over here on the right. Copy properties, effects, all that sort of thing. And then look at doing deletes, cut, copies, and paste. At this moment, I just want to edit effects, drop a shadow, you can delete it, or you could look at other effects as well. So we'll hide that for now. I just want to edit the text right now, so I'll actually double click up here where I have it and then type in the name or some context about my video to give the viewer something to refer to pretty quickly. So for this one, it was actually a Mistweaver Monk Mage Tower Challenge. Okay, and you can already see that the text is sized itself larger than the space I allotted for it, so I do need to move it. Okay, once you're good there, make sure you just grab onto the object itself, and you can move it around the screen. Define different, call it even points throughout the way. You can see right now that there's these two yellow lines, one vertical, one horizontal. Those are for centering. So if I wanted to center it in the video, I could put it there. I don't want to center it. I actually want to move it a little bit. So I'm going to resize here, see if we can stretch some of that text out a little bit. I kind of like the way, there we go. It's a little tight, but let's see what we can work with. You can also change the text, which text you use here. You would go into edit and show properties to find out which text you want to use. This is a certain text that I've been using for my stream in particular, but you have all your normal text forms and probably a little bit more as well. And you can import them, which is the way I did it, by adding them to your library. That's a completely separate topic, and there's videos out there on adding new fonts to your existing font collection for Word and other Microsoft products like that. Just do a search online, you'll be able to find them. So this is what I am using now. I'm going to get rid of the properties for a second. I actually want to pull this back in, maybe center it to about there. Doesn't look too bad. You know what we can do here? We can actually move this text within the reference frame of the intro. Here we go. To see what we can get on the screen itself. So as this still is coming, what would happen is it would pop open for a little bit, give the reader enough time to read it, and then maybe there, go ahead, you can actually time it with the sound file. Nice. So here's that intro sound file. I'm going to just bring it right to that point. I'll bring in the right side of that text. This is again the timeline, so this is really telling you how long you want that object to be on your timeline. So now when it comes in, it's the still image from the beginning, but what we've added is this text to appear and go away after the video restarts. Okay. Now you can move this all around on what sort of preferences that you have for the text. Looking at it now here on the solid image, I'm not exactly wild about it. So what I'm going to do is see if I can space these out a little bit and get them on either side of the other image that I have on screen. So there we go. Looks like it needs maybe a little bit more spacing between the two. Maybe right about there looks good. And that way I can go ahead and create the video as such. Now I'm going to actually give it one more space. I think that looks a little bit better. Okay. So what's neat is we're looking at the Mistweaver Monk Mage Tower Challenge. Now, for those who play World of Warcraft, you'll understand the reference. For those who do not, we can then add other images and stuff as we see fit to create the video. So, excuse me. Let's actually see. There we go. Cool. Let's go out there, and we're actually going to find some Mistweaver Monk images. Those are pretty cool images right there initially. That one right there is pretty sweet. That one's actually really cool. Anyways, get any image file you want, save it somewhere, and then what we'll do is we'll pull it into the media files. Let's see here. I could also get an image of my Mistweaver Monk. Yeah, I kind of like some of those fan art ones. Fan art Monk is pretty cool. Fan art Panda. So that one was pretty neat. A lot of these other ones are pretty sweet as well. A lot of good artists out there. Congrats, guys. I like this one. That one's kind of sweet. So just save it somewhere. For right now, let's just save it to the desktop. That's fine. But that way we know where to go. So we're importing the media. Hit this plus sign. Import media. Just go right to the desktop because that's where we put it in there. Now we've brought it into our files. And we can just drag it onto the timeline if we want right now. So there it is. That's the way he looks. You can't really do a whole lot. You can scale to fit if you really want to, right? And that way it fits the screen vertically. Alternatively, you can hit Control-Z to undo, or just go to Edit, Undo as you would with other things as well. So I actually want to just downsize it a little bit. And what I actually want to do is bring it into frame here with this text, okay? I'm going to move the text actually above the intro sound and then bring both it and the intro sound down. Whoops. Gotta go back. Clicked in a different part. Okay. Get these two files. And then let's move on down. And we'll just pull them down. Boom. So what I want to do is I want to have this little guy show up when the text does on the screen, and so that we have two different pieces of information coming at the same time. So it'll play, boom, this Mistweaver Mage Tower Challenge. Now I don't want this image to appear before the text does. I thought that didn't look too great. So there it's still coming out. It's popped there. I'm going to bring it in right about there. So on the time scale, and then let's rotate it just a little bit. Okay. So once you've dragged an object around where you want it to be, you can then come in and here's the center circle, but there's another circle right to the right of it that changes the angle that you want it to be. And you just hold it, click it, hold it, and drag it around to move it. I want it kind of about right there, cockeyed. And then I actually want a picture of the Mage Tower. So that would be, well, Mage Tower, Broken Shore. That's what this is. Boom. That's a good image right there. Really like that. There we go. We're going to save that to the desktop again. This time I actually want to edit it real quick. So let's bring it on in. Then we're just going to parse it down just a little bit. Okay, now we got what we want. Let's bring it in, import media. And if you import once, it remembers the pathway that you wanted to import from before. We saved it to the desktop, so there we go. Not sure that you'll actually see you actually see. Okay, cool. So we can actually bring it down in size. Bring it over here. Maybe slice it down just a little bit more. And there we go. Let's actually turn it over so slight. Whoop. Whoa there. Boom. Mage Tower. And then let's have an effect on bringing these in, because that'll be pretty neat too. So let's actually zoom on in so we can get time scales right and everything. You can actually see they're not quite lined up. Just go ahead and shorten that end. There we go. And then when I'm going to click and drag out to the right, it'll start to find a line where the other ones have ended. Actually looks like that a little long. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. What I was saying is just on lengthwise in the timeline. If you have it shorter and you're moving out towards the end of another clip, it'll give you a reference point once you get closer to where it should be. Right there, boom. And then it kind of snaps it in place a little bit. You just keep clicking and dragging if you want to bring it in different places. So let's bring in some transitions for those themselves. You can do behaviors, so you can like make it jump if you really wanted to. Jump and fall. If you hold your cursor over it, you'll see what it looks like. So maybe let's take a look at that and just see what that looks like here for the first one. So I've added a behavior to it. So what we'll notice is as it comes in, boom, jumps and falls and it bounces a little bit. That was actually kind of neat. So let's actually do that one to the second one as well. Now when we've added it, what we'll have is two behaviors, both bouncing in and Mage Tower Challenge to go away.
Farewell.
So that actually looked pretty good. We added some behaviors to it. Wasn't a whole lot going on there. You can actually add transitions as well. So if you wanted to, you could have it, let's see. It might not look bad. I want it to be an entrance way. So that might be cool. So let's look at ripple and see how that is compared to just the normal one. Kind of fades in a little bit. Okay. So we can look at a different one. Stretch dissolve. Dissolve might look alright. Let's take a look at dissolve. Dissolve was a little quick. Okay. Maybe pixelate it. Let's see what happens. So you can add transitions to the end as well. That's actually what I'm going to do here for the pixelate on the end. I kind of liked it for the end. For the beginning, let's take a look at glow and see what we can do here. You don't have to get too complicated with it. That pixelate was kind of neat on the back end. Let's just leave it as is, okay, and no transition. I need just one. All right, and then let's take a look at maybe a transition on the text. Maybe get the text to go away as well. So I did the glow, I think. Oh, I did the pixelate. Let's look at a glow on the back end for the text. See how that,
Need
see how
help?
that was. Was it too fast?
Need help?
It wasn't too fast. So I actually want to make those texts that popped up and the images that popped up last a little bit longer. Maybe to about, yeah, right there. So I moved my cursor, my reference point there, because that's where I want them to be. And then for all three of them, I'm actually going to zoom in on the time scale. Look, no, I'll go back to normal. Okay. So I want this video, click, control click, and I'm just going to elongate all of them right to that end. So now we've added some behaviors and some transitions. You can of course do annotations on screen. Just pick whatever annotation you want. You can then click in on the middle and go hello. Okay, and maybe we'll take this one once we can get off. There we go. And maybe just make it from his mouth, like he's the one actually saying something here. So you can make it smaller. You can move it around if you wanted. Hello. And then of course you can change up different properties with that one as well. So you can change the font. Let's try that one. Maybe go Oswald. Maybe try and find that really funky one I had earlier. I think that one was... There we go. 7th service. Hello. You can also change the color if you really wanted to. So I can go black. I can go any sort of colors. You can pick on a different range up here just like you would normally. Let's stay with 7th service. And actually, let's go back and find... Maybe go Arial black and just leave it there. You can do bold italicing if you really wanted to. Change up the size, underline it, or strike through. Change the different alignments as you would normally. And then you can actually rotate it as well. So getting back onto the screen, you can rotate it wherever you wanted it to be and show up. Boom. Hello. So this one I want to be kind of fast.
Need help?
So that when it's on here, it doesn't get called out between them. Hello. There we go. So let's... Those fade away. He says hello.
Farewell.
Alright. So at this point in the video, it's already transitioned off. Let's get it right there and bring it back. Boom. Now what we've done is added a quick annotation.
Need help?
Hello.
Farewell.
Boom. And now we're off and running. Let's add a quick transition to this one as well. Maybe we want to not do too much to it, but we'll make it, let me see. Let's use a radial blur to start. Let's make it really short.
Need help?
That was really short. Whoops. Control Z because we didn't mean to delete that. So let's actually leave it nothing on the inside. Let's make it dissolve to leave. But we want to do the dissolve pretty quick.
Need help? Farewell.
That was kind of neat. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Zoom back out. There's not a whole lot I want to do on the rest of this video itself. This is just going to be... Actually, you know what? Let's take that out. Alright, moving on, scrolling through. That's fine. A lot more that I could actually do with this. Okay. I think the video as is actually not too bad at the moment. I do need to tidy up the transitions on the end. We can do that at a later point. I think the beginning is actually at a really good spot. So let's look at it here with what we've added.
Need help? Farewell.
Well, that hello comes and goes pretty quickly, doesn't it? Certainly does. Let's get rid of that transition on the end. It looks a little busy. Looks like there's a little too much going on. So we'll click on the transition and hit delete and get rid of that. Alright. You can do different cursor effects if you really wanted to. So cursor highlighting, magnifying, spotlighting different areas on the screen. Maybe I wanted to show a certain highlight there. I could definitely do so. Just click it and drag it down here. And then, whoops, bring that back. So you can do different cursor effects depending on your left click or your right click or both. And then different highlighting if you really wanted to. Voice narration, if you wanted to record something on top of the video as commentary as you're watching, you can definitely do so. So maybe let's record a quick clip to give the reader a little bit of understanding what we're doing here. Okay, so I'll find where I want to have the video started. Zoom out just a little bit. Where I want to have it started. And I only have the other intro sound file itself. I don't have any other clip going on, but I want to bring something in for the reader to understand. So let's bring it in. And let's bring it in right there. Alright, and then you would just hit start recording here. Hey guys, this is Internet Tough Guy here, and we are in the
Need
Broken
help?
Shore, about to take
Farewell.
on the Mistweaver Monk challenge for the artifact weapon. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the video. Boom. You would then stop it and save it wherever you're going to save it. I have a directory set up of videos. This one I guess I would consider a quest. I'm going to call it the Mistweaver Monk Mage Tower Challenge. I have now saved it, and it has appeared on the timeline where I started initially and for the duration that I did the commentary for. So track 7 is fine. I could leave it there if I really wanted to short up with the rest of the objects there. I would then just bring it back down lower, track 6, so I have one more to mess with. I don't need to do anything else at this time, and then I would move on. I want to do different commentary for the video as we progress and make changes and highlights and edits to the video. Right now I'm actually going to show what we need to do on the ending to transition all of that as well, and then conclude this video because we're starting to get into some time. So my ending right now as set up is just going to show the rest of the video clip that I have that we're making for it here, and then it's going to do an outro sound, and then also the image here for both the static images. Jumping back 1 second, guys, I want to look at one more thing up front here, and that is the different sound levels versus the intro sound versus the sound clip that we took. It would be a good idea to at least judge that to see how low one is versus another and how much you may need to bring it up. So let's go ahead and just listen on in real quick and see if we can tell a good difference. Hey guys, this is Internet Tough Guy here, and so I can tell already that my sound on the recording sounds a little bit low, and you can see all the little bumps in this sound file here. Those are actually the recordings itself. If you right click on it, you can add clip speeds, audio points, show properties, which we want to look at now for gain, and then you can also raise it up yourself. You notice that the cursor has changed from a normal cursor to a resized cursor, so we're just going to drag this up, maybe say to 500%. It might be too loud, but let's give it a shot. Hey guys, this is Internet Tough Guy here, and we are in the Broken Shore about to take on the Mistweaver Monk challenge for the artifact weapon. There we go. Okay, you can also give it gain. If we didn't want to play it at 100%, maybe we want to play it way louder. If it's too loud, I'll definitely pause it. Hey guys, this is Internet Tough Guy here, and we are in the Broken Shore about to take on the Mistweaver Monk. Okay, so let's look one more time about the sound. Hey guys, this is Internet Tough Guy here, and we are in the Broken Shore about to take on the Mistweaver Monk challenge for the artifact weapon. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the video. Okay, that actually worked out pretty well. So let's leave it at that. If for any reason you wanted to truncate certain parts of the video, find where you want initially, and then just stretch on either side. You can actually stretch on both sides if you really wanted to. I usually like to try a common reference point about where I wanted to stop or end a certain segment, and then work towards the end of where I wanted that segment that I want to get rid of. Different preferences for different people, so you know, take whatever measures you need to get the exact product that you need at the end. I want to bring them back together, so I'll just double click there and it shores it up. Okay, so we fix the sound levels. Now let's go to the very end. We will scroll on down here and come on to the very end. Just click there, and then we can zoom in there. Okay. So, we are ready to finish the outro, and what we have at this moment is really just the video going straight to...
And there it is, boys. If you like this video, definitely...
I actually want to go ahead and bring up this gain and these levels. Might be too loud, we'll see.
And there it is, boys.
Yeah, it's a little bit loud. Let's take the gain down some. You can also type in here if you wanted. Whoops, I don't have oh my gosh, num lock on. We'll go back down to 100%. Let's see how it sounds now.
And there it is, boys. If you like this video, definitely make sure to give it a...
That sounds a little bit better. I could also reduce this sound if I wanted to, just by dragging on the arrow itself. I'm gonna leave it at 100 for right now. Now again, you can undo the edit that you did if you wanted. I hit Control Z as a shortcut, but really just go up to undo. That's why it says Control Z here, because it's a keyboard shortcut. Okay. Let's actually conclude this video. It had a little bit too much on the end that I didn't want. So I wanted the achievement there, and then as that's fading, we can get rid of the rest. Okay. Just move those off to the right just a little bit so we don't cut those off accidentally. Go here to the end and delete. And then we'll bring these ones back. Perfect. So let's find a good transition for the outro one, and right now we've done fade through black. So what's neat is if you're working from a pre-existing file, which I do a lot of times because I use the same images in outro and intro sounds at times, is that it'll keep a log of what the object is that you have there. So this one in particular is the transition fade through black, and that's good. Let's actually use that one again for this. We'll have to find it here. Fade through black. Okay, so that was set at 121 duration. So let's go ahead and delete that. Fade through black. Boom. Now what we have is that the file itself fades through black.
And there it is, boys.
So now we have a transition to show the ending, and then we also have a transition between that.
If you like this video, definitely make sure to give it a like, share it if you guys would like, and also subscribe to me on Twitch and my YouTube pages. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Okay, and then I just had the normal flip turn for this transition. I actually want to change that, so let's use the page roll instead. I think that would have done it. Yeah. Alternatively, if you want to switch ones and you don't want to have to go through the menu of re-navigating one, you can just click and drag and then hover it over the existing transition.
Like and also subscribe to me on Twitch and my YouTube pages, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Boom. Let's actually go to the very end. So and then we're done there. That's actually all I wanted to do on the very end. Just wanted to show you guys some extra transitions that you could do there. It's the same sort of story. I think the only thing I haven't really showed you at a basic level is this scroll area here. This is for the actual entire clip itself. So the entire clip is a little over 16 minutes. That's about how long the challenge itself takes. I'm not quite done in wanting to produce it at the moment, but I would like to save it. I do need to save it. So I'm going to go up to File, Save As. And I already have a folder set up that we set up earlier under Quests, and then Mr. Monk Mage Tower Challenge. And that's all I'm going to save it as. Mistweaver Monk Mage Tower Challenge. So Camtasia tells you that we just saved the project. If I'd like to edit, I can bring it back up at any point. When you are ready to produce a file, you've made all the edits that you want, you simply come up here to the share button up on the right, and you can create it as a local file. You can save it to all these different places. You could automatically export it to YouTube if you had a YouTube account, Google Drive, Vimeo, and Screencast, or you can do custom productions that you can set up later and add or edit presets to. For the purposes of this video, I always just do local file. It's the shortest amount of time because you don't have to go over internet to send it there, and then I'll upload it later anyways. It's going to go to YouTube, so I could use that feature and just not worry about it, but I'm not ready to create the file itself anyways. So at this point, I'm just going to save one more time, come up there and hit save, and then I'm good to go. So for all of you that have been watching thank you. I'm going to take a moment and take a break, hang out with some friends, and if you have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment below or send me a message, and I will try and get back to you. Thanks everybody for watching.